When Hogwarts Legacy first released, it was embroiled in a deep controversy related to the author of the books. And I just think that's such a shame because that distracted us from what should have been the real controversy with this game, which is that it is one of the worst insulting games I've ever played. And I'd like to tell you about why. You know what isn't terrible? Liking the video, leaving a comment, and subscribing to the channel. I didn't necessarily have the highest expectations for Hogwarts Legacy when I went into it. I have read all of the Harry Potter books, but I am far from a fanatic fan of the series. I haven't read them since they came out. I saw all the movies when those came out, and they were fine, but I'm far from somebody who's like a diehard fan. So maybe there's enough here just for those people who just want to be a little wizard that they liked it, and maybe that's why it's so popular, but I like to think I'm coming at this in a fairly objective perspective. And as far as I can tell, there is really nothing that works in this game outside of the very most basic set dressing. The world itself is pretty bland, empty, and not at all fun to explore. Sure, you have the actual Hogwarts castle, which does have a certain magic to it for the first hour or two that you're running around, going to your potions class or whatever. But once you get outside the castle, especially, it is just a big, open, pretty empty area. And that makes sense. I don't really remember much in the books of them visiting all these different small little villages and towns surrounding the school. But that doesn't mean it makes for a good open world game. The game has a lot of collectibles, and even those don't feel worthwhile to go get. It just feels so tedious to explore this world. There's no purpose to it. There's no reason to do it other than they filled it with, again, relatively meaningless feeling items to go and get. I think this is the biggest flaw with this game. It has a lot of systems, but none of those systems really feel like they were designed to work together with one another. And even worse than that, most of the systems don't even feel like they were designed to work well on their own. The game's combat is absolutely basic, generic. You click to attack the guys, you get a little notification over your head when you need to counter their attacks or dodge their attacks. You can use different magics to do kind of cool combos, throw them up in the air, freeze them, hit them with a fireball. But none of it feels impactful, and also none of it feels realistic. It's been a while since I've read the books, but I don't remember it being so poor in the sense of every issue that people run into, there is a sudden MacGuffin Deus Ex Magica spell that they suddenly know that lets them do exactly what they need to do to get past whatever's blocking their way or do whatever. But then at the same time, you still try and set up stakes. Oh, people can die, people can this, people can that. It makes it all feel so flat. Yeah, there's magical spells to do anything and everything other than all the times where we need there to be nothing to do for it to create a story beat or an issue. And then it comes to your character. This is kind of one of those other things where I think you can forgive it in some of those open world games, like Spider-Man. Of course, everybody wants Spider-Man to help them. He's Spider-Man. But in this game, you play a random fifth year, which is a 16-year-old. You're a 16-year-old kid coming to Hogwarts for the first time, so in theory, you've been taught nothing about magic, but of course at the same time, you are the ultimate wizard, and you can beat all the other wizards and kids at the school, and you're so amazing, and you can see special magic, and blah, blah, blah. And then people just ask you for help for no reason. They don't even know who you are, but you immediately gain their trust, and they're showing you secret spots in Hogwarts. Or at one point, one of the people just asks you to help solve a murder. There's just two fifth-year Hogwarts students solving a murder. They don't call the wizard police. They don't do anything. They just send the kids into it. And I get it. That's kind of what Harry Potter did in his books, right? He's this kid who's just a random student, but they at least established it. Weird stuff was going on, and they were investigating it within Hogwarts, and the professors were like trying to keep track of them. But it is so bad that it has me questioning, almost wanting to reread the books to see if they were actually at this level of terrible. Because I don't remember feeling this way when I read the books, but I also read the books when I was a child and didn't know any better. But now seeing it play out as an adult in this game, it just feels so forced and contrived. Why are professors asking you to do things for them around the school? Again, they don't even know who you are. You are a brand new student, and they're giving you all this responsibility. It just doesn't make sense. this all ties back into the game design as well. The game has an overwhelming number of items. They wanted this to be like an action RPG type game. So you're constantly getting new items that have just minimal stat increases. Nothing feels special. The cosmetic system is terrible. You can set a cosmetic for your characters, but as soon as you get a better robe stats-wise, when you equip it, it just overwrites your visual settings. So then you have to go into the other menu to change what your guy looks like. So instead, you just forget about that because that's too much of a hassle. And then your guy just looks like an absolute buffoon. I don't know why they leaned so hard into most of the cosmetics in the game being kooky wizard stuff. It just adds to the absurdity of the whole situation and really takes you out of the game. There's just so much working against itself in this game. It just is infeasible that you are such an important character. This is not a superhero game where you are the only superhero. Everybody in this game, every single character is a wizard, and yet none of them seem to want to be able to help themselves. They're all just helpless losers, letting people kill them, essentially, walk all over them. Goblins are attacking them. Who in their right mind, take it into the real world. If you're an adult, you don't call up a 16-year-old and say, hey, go figure this out for me. No, you would figure, right? Somebody figures it out. Get somebody who's an adult. And it doesn't help that the character himself that you are playing as is one of the most insufferable twats I think I've ever seen in a video game. He is insufferable. His tone is constantly condescending, arrogant. There's no emotion when it calls for it, when something actually bad is happening. This guy's so monotone. The dialogue in the game is atrocious, and then this adds into the story being fairly nonsensical. It really doesn't go anywhere for the first 20 hours. You still don't really know what's going on. There's an evil goblin, but you don't really know what he's doing, but he's interested in you, and you can see ancient magic, and you don't really know why that's important. And then there's a whole story about some other student who was at Hogwarts 100 years ago who also could see ancient magic, but what does that matter? There's not enough development in the story to keep up with the gameplay. The gameplay gets so old and so boring so quickly. The only redeemable thing about this game that I saw, and honestly, I didn't even get to it, I gave up on this game before you get there, is that you are able to learn all the evil wizard spells. And I was kind of looking forward to that because really, you already are kind of killing people, it seems like, when you're fighting them. The game doesn't really explicitly say it, but there is some comments, especially the goblins and creatures that you're fighting. There is some dialogue that indicates that you are murdering these people. They are dead. You killed a goblin, and again, child killing, whatever. So there is that part of me that wanted to at least get those spells so that I could really wreak havoc on my enemies, but honestly, the game just got to be too much. I couldn't handle it. And at some point you have to ask yourself, why am I spending the precious moments of my life playing this game that I'm not enjoying? That's not fun. It's not a good game. I think most of the positivity towards this game is just people who are diehard fans of this series who really enjoyed having Hogwarts Castle to go explore. But that doesn't sustain. That maybe gives you 2 hours. And once you get through that, there is nothing here. This game is an absolute mess. Its mechanics don't work. They don't work well together. The story makes no sense. It requires such a suspension of disbelief that it's infeasible to do it. The dialogue is terrible. The voice actor for the main character is terrible. The collectibles are tedious and just awful to collect. This whole game feels like an exercise in wasting the player's time. And as far as I'm concerned, there are no redeeming qualities to it. What do you think? Is Hogwarts Legacy actually a great game and my muggle brain can't comprehend it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the like button, consider subscribing to the channel or even becoming a member, and I will see you all with the next video.